Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to this webinar. I am Rajnandini, psychologist and research associate at RehabPath. We are a medicine-based startup with a mission to help patients and families struggling with addiction by connecting them to the right rehab center. We work with around 1,700 treatment centers in India. So in today's webinar, we will be discussing the scope of rehab centers beyond addiction recovery. And our guest speaker here with us is Dr. Prakasham, who is a cardiac surgeon and also the chairman at Lotus Wellness and Rehabilitation Center. So this is about a 1-hour session. Feel free to drop your messages or questions, comments at any time on Facebook or Zoom. We will take the questions at the end of the session. So welcome, Dr. Om.
Good evening to all.
Good evening. Yeah. So before we talk about our topic today, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience first? Just tell us briefly about yourself and how you got into this field of addiction treatment.
Okay. So I'm Dr. Om, consultant cardiac surgeon at a 1,000-bedded corporate hospital here in Coimbatore. I completed my MBBS from Coimbatore Medical College in the year 2000. I pursued my MS General Surgery from Davangere JJ Medical College. My NCH was from SRMC, Sri Ramachandra Medical College, Chennai. I completed in the year 2007, following which I did my fellowship in advanced cardiac surgery from the National University Heart Center, Singapore. So, as a surgeon, I specialize in coronary artery bypass grafting, valvular heart surgery, and donor congenital heart diseases. So, as of today, to be precise, I became a heart surgeon at 30 years, became a consultant heart surgeon at the age of 35, became chief of heart surgery at the age of 40, and now I'm 46. I've done around successfully operated on 6,000 plus cardiac patients, and my special interest is cardiac transplantation and artificial hearts. My mentor is Professor Dr. K.R. Balakrishnan. He's a legend. He holds the distinction of being doing the maximum number of heart transplants in India, around 500 plus heart transplants as of today. But I was very much part of the team that started the program in the year 2011 in Chennai. I was there up to the 55th heart transplant. I was there in the team up to around 2017. I hail from Pollachi. I wanted to serve the people of Coimbatore region. So I came back to Coimbatore. So this is how I came back to Coimbatore. And regarding addiction, my first cousin, actually a very, very close relative of mine, he had studied in London. He got into substance abuse. He came back in the year 2012. So incidentally, I was being the family doctor. You understand, no? We had to start looking out for a good rehab. So it all started. My journey in addiction started in 2012 by Googling for a good rehab. And that's how I got into addiction.
Okay, so you decided to really take part in his journey and also help other people.
Definitely. Actually, so I just thought we started Googling up the best center for the addiction, and then over the years started learning about addiction, and so this is how. And I always believe in learning. We are all students for life. So the journey that started like that eventually has ended up in the creation of Lotus.
Right. Okay. So Lotus Wellness is a fairly new center now, and it's a very beautiful place, as I've seen in pictures. So could you tell us about Lotus Wellness, how it was started, and what is the approach that you follow over there?
Okay. So as I told you, my relative had come back from London, and then the journey looking for the best rehab started.
Right.
Eventually, we put him in a rehab for a couple of months, and then he was discharged. So we thought he had recovered, but unfortunately, over the years, there were umpty number of cycles between recovery and relapse. So each time we would try a different center. So over the years, what happened? I opened a folder. I kept a folder. Being a meticulous learner, I kept a folder with me with two columns. On one side, on the left side, it was the name of the center. On the right side, what would have been better? You understand,
Okay.
no?
Yeah.
Each discharge, we kept learning. So this is how we kept on accumulating about. We kept on retrospecting and introspecting of how things could be better, and eventually we decided that we will create our own center, which would be more ethical, which would, in fact, Lotus was created with only one thing in mind, because as a family, we had suffered a lot in the last decade. So we wanted to create something of an ideal kind of center. With that in mind, Lotus was born.
Okay. Looks
So,
like a
and
lot of looks like a lot of research went into starting Lotus.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, not only research, it was all about passion.
Yeah.
So, from the day we started, we decided that we need to set up an ideal place. You know. So, the thing that kept ringing in my mind, at the back of my mind, was Lotus, India's finest luxury rehab. So, it's all about passion and whatever we do. So, with that in mind, we took a giant leap forward, and I think we've come up with Lotus. And regarding the approach,
Yes.
there are two things that I would like to highlight. W Health, World Health Organization definition for health says anybody is deemed fit or deemed healthy if he is physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually fit. This is the World Health Organization definition of health. So what we did is we have come to this holistic program in in Lotus that aims at each of these keeping each entity as a pillar. Our our therapies are guided towards each of them, be it physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. So this is a holistic center which takes into account all the four essence of health. And apart from that, it's the usual thing. For anybody to get into an addiction or depression, there should be a cause. We call it the root cause, right?
Right.
So we aim at dwelling and finding out the root cause and then tackling the root of the problem. So the thing about Lotus is our therapies are guided at the root of the problem, and secondly, they are guided towards the holistic. This is the specialty.
Right. Okay. Um, so I can understand that it's a holistic approach, and that's something that not a lot of rehab centers in India follow. So, what are some of the unique features and techniques that make Lotus Wellness, different from other rehab centers?
Okay. So, in the journey towards starting up and setting up the best rehab, it was decided in the family to set up a nice rehab. So next was choosing the name.
Right.
So that is when you see Lotus. Lotus flower inspired all of us. Just to tell you, Nandini, uh, the lotus flower, it's basically divine in nature.
Right.
Most of the religions are associated with lotus, and more so of Hinduism and Buddhism. Almost all the gods can be seen having the lotus, right from your Saraswati to Kartikeya or anybody, Buddha. In fact, ancient scriptures of paint, I've gone through ancient pictures of Jesus too. He too has been depicted with the lotus. Okay, that is one thing. But more than that, what the for example, the life of the lotus starts in the slush and mud of the water body. Could be a pond or a river or anything. But eventually, after starting life in the slush and the pond, it radiates. It comes on top of the water body and radiates beautifully. You understand, no?
Right. Yeah.
So the take-home message is, irrespective of your past, irrespective of your addictions, anybody has the capacity to blossom into a new being. This was something that the lotus kept on reminding us. So this is how we chose the name Lotus. It's not, and one more thing is, the lotus always tells in life, it's not where we start our life, where we end is important. So
Right.
we named it Lotus.
Beautiful, yeah.
So this is why we named it Lotus Wellness and Rehabilitation Center. So after the name, the one other thing is USP, unique, like your typical thing is loved one standard of care. So we have something called loved one standard of care. Every guest is treated like family with their due love and respect. We don't, for example, anybody walks into Lotus, our approach would be right from the moment they call us for an inquiry. It's like, if it was our family member, what would we do? This is our approach. So it's all about love, giving them the due respect as any other family member. And then we try to create an atmosphere where love is all, love all. You understand, no? This is also one of our important things. In fact, the most important thing is love one standard of care. After that comes the location. So we are located at Pollachi. For all those who don't know about Pollachi is a very picturesque place at the foothills of the magnificent Annamalai Mountains in the south of India. So it's a perfect place amidst lush greenery. And then I thought the year-round climate, be it the climate, the weather, pollution-free environment, greenery, everything adds to recovery. So I felt that Pollachi is the best place for recovery. So we chose Pollachi for this. And by the way, actually, most of the shootings of Tamil movies happens in and around Pollachi. So it is also called the coconut city of India because we tend to grow the maximum number of coconut trees per square kilometer. So keeping all this and more than that, east or west, home is best. We all are from Pollachi. So, and we are proud to call Pollachi home. So several factors came into choosing Pollachi as a destination for recovery. So that is it. And apart from that, we have something called the thing is, we created a culture of excellence here. For example, excellence is encouraged. Everybody is asked, and then everybody is asked to excel every day. And then the mission of one of the statements that are commonly uttered within Lotus is excellence every day and in every day. You understand, no? It's all about passion. So the next thing is passion for healing. Being a heart surgeon, it is very natural, you understand, to have passion. Because being a heart surgeon, the first thing that I learned is there's no second chance in heart surgery. For example, a person goes for an eye surgery, the surgery doesn't go right. He comes back home, maybe with a blurred vision. Somebody undergoes an orthopedic operation doesn't go well. He'll reach home. Maybe he might have to limp. But the first thing that my mentor taught me on the first day of cardiac surgery is, you have only one chance. You get it right, the patient goes home. Otherwise, he stays here.
Yes.
You understand, no? So with this in mind, it was all about excelling, meticulous planning, implementation. Just like you understand, no? So we enjoy what we do. So I enjoy cardiac surgery. The same thing I try to replicate here by putting a caption called passion for healing, passion for healing, healing the wounds. So likewise, as I told you, we work at the four pillars: mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We try to heal all the wounds there. Once this occurs, automatically everybody recovers.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's a very beautiful story how you started with how the name came about, and I can see through your approach and through the principles that you're following there that the center is actually blooming as beautifully as a lotus. Uh, but you also mentioned that you're a heart surgeon just now, so that reminds me this you would be the perfect person to answer this question. Could you tell us how drugs or drug use, alcohol use affects the heart?
So we are what we eat. You eat healthy, you stay healthy. You abuse the junk, we become junk. You understand? No? So with this in mind, everything, for example, every action, there's equal and opposite reaction. So I would sum it up by telling that as far as drugs are concerned, in fact, because we have a problem of time, I wouldn't dwell into each and every specific drug, but cocaine has been known as heart attack drug, the drug that causes heart attack.
Okay.
So I would put it this way, like for example, I would put the effects for the lay person, for the non-medical person. I would like to dwell upon the effects for the medical person, and third, something common for both. So in layman terms, what I would say is people who abuse drugs are known to have irregular heartbeats, arrhythmias.
Oh,
They tend to have heart attacks. More of heart attacks are common among drug abusers. And thirdly, with an irregular heartbeat and heart attack, strokes are also very common. So this is for the layperson, so that he easily understands. Coming to the medical point, there are three effects that drugs have on our body. One is, it has been found that there is more stiffening of the aorta. The aorta is a major blood vessel which receives the heart, which receives the
right.
blood that is pumped from the heart. People have been known to have stiffening of the aorta following drug abuse.
Oh,
The BP tends to be higher for drug abusers. And thirdly, there's something called hypertrophy of the left ventricle, that is the thickening of the left ventricle.
okay.
All these are patterns subject, which are, we call it strenuous patterns or patterns of strain. So these are the effects of heart. And then what happens is when people tend to abuse drugs IV, intravenously, it ends up with a lot of collapsed veins, and then something called infective endocarditis. That is infection of the heart and infections of the heart valves. So I would sum it up by telling why do we have to use all that? And why do we have to suffer all
Yeah.
that? Given a choice, we are here to correct it. We can help it.
I'm sure this is a very vast topic, but I think you've summed it up very well. But I do have a follow-up question. So, does this happen almost immediately or with short-term use as well, or only with long-term use there's a chance of drugs affecting the
Effects are visible immediately.
heart? Okay.
Yesterday, one of the gentlemen of Lotus, I don't want to name the person, but I happened to do an echo. He has been abusing alcohol for the past 20 years. Just last week, one of his brothers had passed away. So he was all the more, in fact, he had come for a rehab, and then they took a break from the rehab for the last 4 5 days. They went for the funeral services, and then he came back after that. He told me that he was already in rehab, but his brother had passed away suddenly. So he went home and started abusing alcohol again.
Okay.
They are all youngsters, only 43, 44 years. His brother was around 48 to be precise. So what happened yesterday? They didn't turn up to the rehab first. They came to my cardiac OPD first in Coimbatore.
Okay.
So I happened to do an echo myself, and then I showed them the irregular heartbeats. So he was under you understand, no? He had consumed alcohol the previous night. The very next day, his heart rate was around 110, and he was found having profound arrhythmias, which is a very major risk factor for heart attacks.
Okay.
So, as I told you, effects are visible immediately. And another interesting patient that I saw, they came from Gujarat. He was a meth user.
Okay.
All his life, like the last 7 months, according history-wise, they say he has injected meth only 7 times. That is, on an average, once a month. Both his forearms, all the veins are collapsed and looking like scars. You understand, no? So there's no these effects are visible immediately, but of course, some people it is visible later. But sooner or later, nature will take its toll.
Right. Most people are not aware of these very serious effects when they're experimenting with drugs. So I think it's very important to spread awareness about these things.
Ignorance is a major thing because most people don't know, as you rightly told, the effects of. They don't know anything about it. You understand?
Right.
No? Excepting the kick that is instantaneous.
Yeah. Okay, so let's slowly get into our topic. And here we're trying to understand, what is the scope of rehab centers beyond just addiction? Because a lot of times when we think of rehab center, the only picture that comes to our mind is either alcohol addiction or drug addiction. So I want to ask about Lotus Wellness first. What are the different treatments that you provide, or what are the different kinds of disorders that you deal with?
So, actually, Lotus is not like a typical rehab. It's more like a home away from home. So, it is, I would say that it's kind of a medical resort, you understand, no? Where people would love to come and recoup, where people can come, spend some time and recoup at the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. At Lotus, we have divided treatment into three columns, three types. One is addiction. That is addiction to alcohol, drugs, gambling, gadget, internet, shopping, and everything. The second, more Lotus, we have created Lotus in such a way with so much of positivity that it is one of the natural mind care centers. You understand, no? The second thing is directed towards mental health. We have programs for depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, schizophrenia, bipolar, obsessive compulsive disorder. You understand, no? So the second is for mental health. And the third one is wellness. So, Nandini, by the way, the common question that I'm confronted with is what is health and what is wellness? Any idea?
I think, yeah, please go ahead.
So, health is a state of body or mind. You understand? No? It involves body and mind. Whereas wellness is a state of being. So we have a very good wellness center here with a world-class spa called Tamarai here. Tamarai in Tamil language means lotus. So our wellness department caters to weight reduction, rejuvenation.
Okay.
We got Panchakarma, Shirodhara, stress management, you understand, no? Wellness programs are directed towards a whole world
Holistic
of
wellness.
problems. So we specialize in three divisions. One is addictions, one is mental health, and the third being wellness.
Okay. Yeah, I think that clears a lot of things. So I don't see Lotus as just a de-addiction center, like you said. It is like a hub for anyone who wants to feel better, get better, physically, emotionally, mentally, in any way, right? But trying to understand more about the mental health part. So, how is residential treatment beneficial for mental health conditions like depression or OCD or schizophrenia?
So change of place always precedes of change of mind. I for one believe positivity is contagious.
Mhm.
So people suffering from depression or schizophrenia, or they can, if it was drugs alone, they can have it well at home. But there are several other factors that go into the treatment of people with mental health issues.
Mhm.
You understand, no? So coming to a rehab like Lotus is coming to a second resort, medical resort, where you don't feel like it's a rehab at all. It's full of positivity with loved one standard care, with loved one standard of care, a culture of excellence, passion for healing. We have something called rise with the sun and sleep with the sun. Our day starts by 6 and lights are off by 9:30. The full day is, you understand, no? This, you're surrounded with lot of different people. Change of place apart from home. It's like this, home being a box and Lotus being out of a box. You understand? No? So you get two perspectives. When you're in a box or your comfort zone, your notions of life, your perspective of life is totally different from when you come to a place like Lotus and have an opportunity to look back at your box. For example, Nandini is there in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Come here to Pollachi and then have a look at Bangalore from our perspective. You understand? No? So mental health gives a whim of new air. You understand? Centers like Lotus infuse that whim of new air into the therapy that is required for a person suffering from depression and things like that.
Okay.
So they benefit a lot.
It gives you a new perspective in a new place, in a different environment. Okay. So, you spoke about treatment for addiction and then treatment for these mental health issues. So, in the treatment, is there any similarity between the two treatments?
I would put it this way. People who abuse or who are addicted to a substance for a long period of time, they eventually end up having some mental health disorder.
True.
And on vice versa, people having mental health issues are more prone to get addicted to a substance. You understand, no?
Yeah.
So from both of them, either addiction or mental health, require prolonged rehabilitation, a time where they come here, spend a lot of days, weeks, or months with us, and try to put their life in order. You understand, no? It's all about, we have Lotus is strictly a gadget-free zone. We kept it that way. You understand? When people come with an iPad or mobile, they all today's world, they all want different variety of things, right? When you give them, when you give a mobile, it's like giving the world to them. So we kept Lotus as a gadget-free zone where people with addiction or mental health issues when they come here, they can have more time for themselves. They have this opportunity to introspect. So progression and development comes with introspection. You understand? No? That's how we are handling addiction and mental health issues here.
Okay, all right. So,
But
like you said,
management-wise, it's almost the same. You understand?
okay. So somehow both are interlinked, like you started. One might lead to the other, or they might start together, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why treatment somehow is similar for them. Uh, but so, is there any way that the treatment for addiction and mental health disorders is different from one another?
For example, as I told you, it depends whether this person had addiction that followed on with a
Right.
mental health disorder or a mental health issues leading out into addiction. But irrespective, I think on one side, both require prolonged rehabilitation and medications. For example, addictions, it's very clear cut. You put them on medication for to control their withdrawal,
Right.
optimization, detox, and then counseling plays a very important role. Whereas counseling is common for both actually.
Right.
So for mental issues, it is, for example, if you are able to label the mental health issue, for example, a person who's on depression would require a mood elevator. You understand? No? And so it's varied, but the thing that is common between them is rehabilitation, rejuvenation, and wellness. We have to work with that and with that as a goal.
Right. Okay. So eventually, both are looked at from a holistic approach, and the root cause is something that is being focused on, right? Okay. So we know now that there are rehab centers, which are residential treatment centers, but there are also some hospitals which have like inpatient options to like get admitted. So how is residential treatment in a rehab different from inpatient treatment in a hospital setting?
Okay. So actually, hospital is associated with illness,
Right.
whereas rehabs are associated with wellness.
Okay.
For example, a patient, the word hospital is supposed to create, they say there's something called the white coat syndrome.
Oh.
For example, I've seen a lot of that. Following bypass surgery, when they come to the hospital, the BP is almost 10 to 20 millimeters of mercury higher than their normal. You understand? No? That apprehension of coming to a hospital.
Yes.
So they come for, usually people come for an illness, could be medical or surgical. They stay for a short duration and get back home. Whereas rehabilitation is all about wellness. As I told earlier, it's about wellness is a state of being.
Right.
So people come here and recalibrate. I look at rehabs as a place where they get an opportunity to recalibrate their life. You understand?
Right.
A person going ori, a person going away from his normal track, something going taking them on the wrong path. They can come to a rehab like Lotus and then fine-tune themselves for a better. For example, I always believe rehab life is retuning life. It's like you come, reprogram yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and jump. I always tell all my guests here, even a prancing tiger takes one step back and then bump and then prances. So you're here to reprogram yourself, and then eventually when you go back to the place where you come from, you'll have to go back with a bang. You understand, no? That's the way we we have been motivating our patients and guests.
Okay. Oh, guests. Okay. Right. I love how you started with that line where hospitals treat illnesses and rehabs deal with wellness. So that really sums up the whole question that I asked. Okay, so I know that you have been in this field for some time. So in Lotus, what are the kind of non-addiction related problems that you have seen? And like, if you could share an example and briefly tell us what the treatment plan was like and how the recovery went.
For me, and you understand, Lotus is here to help everybody. You understand? No? The way I see it. For example, anybody knocking at our door with any kind of problem, we are here to help them out. We don't believe in telling no. No is never an answer for us.
Yeah.
If somebody knocks at our door, it's our duty to help them. So I would like to narrate a story of a young gentleman, 23 years of age, an engineering graduate. He is hailing. His father was from military. His mother is from the police forces. He is 193 centimeters. His height is 193 centimeters. He wanted to shed. His weight was 126 kilos. But you understand, no? For the police exam, he had to shed 20 kilos within a month, within 1.5 months.
Within 1.5 months.
1.5 months.
Does not seem
possible. It's a very interesting case. But you won't believe me, we took up the challenge because he came and requested me, Anna. Anna in Tamil means brother. You understand? Yeah. So I for one was more obliged. And then we have Shanmu Sundaram sir, the GM that you had spoken. In fact, the first call came to him, telling that Anna, look, I've got the exam coming up in 2 months. I have to shed 20 kilos. I found your name on the internet. Can you please help? So that day I had a bypass surgery. So eventually I came, once I finished my surgery, sir frenetically called me, telling that this gentleman has called. There's a request to shed 20 kilos. This exam is coming next month. So I go, come on, let's take up the challenge. Eventually, he did lose weight.
Wow.
His exam is coming up next month.
Okay.
So you understand, it's all about helping people.
Right.
He came here and then he spent almost 1.5 months.
Okay. Could you share like some techniques that you used, or how did that happen? Like, is it through medication or just through diet?
Actually, I always believe that we have one hand is the guest and one hand is the lotus. You understand, no? So this gentleman, as I told you, though he came for a weight shedding program, it was the same rule for him. No mobiles, no gadgets, the same rise with the sun, sleep with the sun. You understand? No? Same yoga. So what we did is, in his case, for his height, we had given around 7 liters of detox water per day.
Okay.
193 centimeters. We have this detox water that we prepare in Lotus is infused with herbs collected in and out at the foothills of the magnificent Anamalays mountains. No?
Yeah.
So it's all passion. So we made to give him drink only that during a stay. Okay. Apart from that, the special instruction for the therapist here was every day you should give special. I don't know what you do. You give us. You use all the tricks that you have learned to help him shed a few kilos. So he also used that powder massages. These powders are made of special herbs collected. No. Okay. So every day this gentleman was encouraged to participate in yoga, participate in massages. he was given a steam bath every day, and then he was given, and apart from that, as I told you, from the Lotus part, I helped him in all this. And then we have this fitness hub, this world-class gym that we have at Lotus. No,
Wow.
he for one used it thrice a day.
Okay.
You understand? No? It was surprising for me, but he used it thrice a day, and ultimately he we achieved the target. He came at 26. He's left at 108.
Wow. Okay. It's achieved his goal of shedding 20.
So, as I told you, it's all about passion. Nothing is impossible. The word impossible is only in the dictionary. This is our attitude.
Right. It's also a very, very unique approach towards it. Okay, very interesting, example that you've shared. So these are all the questions that I had. Can we go ahead and take some questions from the guests?
Definitely.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah. Okay, so there's one question. There are many various treatment options available. So how does one know which level of treatment they need? Is just one counseling session enough for me, or do I need medication? Do I need residential facility, or OPD will work fine for me? That's the question.
Okay. The thing is, in English, they say old habits die hard. You understand? No?
Right.
A single OPD session is never going to help anybody. In fact, the results of a residential program are much better than OPD programs.
Mm-hmm.
As I told you, it's not like an OTC, you understand, no? It's not like over the top counter, you buy something and come. So what I would say is rehab is a place where you have to come, stay with us, recalibrate your life, recalibrate your priorities, and get back into the real world. So I don't believe in shortcuts. I don't recommend shortcuts. There are no medicines that can help you change your perspective of life. You understand? No? Otherwise, everybody will be having medicines for everything. It's all about programming. We call it thought programming.
Okay. All right. So there's another question. How can one find if a treatment facility specializes in the condition that they have? For example, like eating disorder.
Okay. In fact, we've been getting umpteen number of inquiries with various
Okay.
Eating disorders,
Oh,
bulimia nervosa,
right.
all that. So what it is, we'll be happy to have them, and we'll be happy to help them. At Lotus, it's not only allopathy.
Mm-hmm.
We have Ayurvedic consultants also on the panel.
Okay.
In fact, one of our taglines for Lotus is ancient wisdom for modern wellness. It sums it everything, right?
Right.
So what it is, we are a mix between East and West.
Right. We're taking the
Or
best
South
of
and
it.
North. Or South and North. Either.
Yeah.
We believe in taking the better of
Both.
everyone.
Right.
So we can help them out, ask them to get in touch with us. I'll be very happy to help them.
Okay. All right. So this is okay. One question that I have, since you also spoke about massage therapy and all, which is also very unique to me for Rehab Center. So what are the different kinds of people that you have in your staff? Like who all are in your
Voice
team?
is breaking at me.
Oh, okay. Wait, is it better now?
In fact, the video is getting stuck. Huh?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Dr. Om?
Nandini?
I think there is some internet.
I can hear Rajnandini. I think it's from Dr. Om.
Can you
The
hear me?
internet could be. Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you. All
Yeah,
right.
I can hear you as well.
All right.
Dr. Holmes.
Dr. Om, can you hear me now? Yeah, I think it's some internet connectivity issues.
Yeah. Just wait for a while and let's see.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually, yeah, now can you hear me?
You can repeat the question, no, please?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I think it's like the weather is also very rainy, so the network might have been a little bad. But it's okay. Yeah. So my question was,
That's it, sir.
yeah, it is. Can you hear me now, though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Okay. So my question was, like you spoke about massage therapy as well, right? Within treatment. So what are the different kinds of people that you have in your staff? Like what are the different, people in your team that work in Lotus?
Okay. So team is our strength. You understand, no?
Yeah.
The team at Lotus is a start. They are all highly qualified. We have a highly qualified multidisciplinary team. I always believe teamwork makes the dream work. You understand, no?
Yeah.
So for Lotus, teamwork makes recovery work. That's one more tagline that we keep repeating at Lotus.
Mhm.
So we have the best of doctors. In fact, most of the doctors in our panel are either my college seniors or juniors, all friends for umpty number of years. They are all stalwarts in their own field. It could be cardiology. I'm a cardiac surgeon. So it could be gastroenterology, medical gastro, surgical gastro, neuro. You name the specialty, all are on the panel. Because the moment you understand, no? I called up the doctors that are on the panel are such are people who are very conscious towards service.
Mhm.
So that was one criteria.
Right.
We have the best of male and female therapists working at the spa. We have physiotherapists who can help out. We have gym trainers. We have the best of psychologists. We have the best social workers. So Lotus is full of, it's an A team.
Right.
It's a star team.
Okay.
And as I told you, teamwork makes dream work. And we always believe, what is the expansion of team, Nandini? TEAM. Akansha, Adarsh. Together, each achieves more. So this is how we all work together. It's one family, one goal, recovery.
Right. Working towards the same goal. Yeah. Okay. So there's another question, which I think we've already addressed, but I'll take this anyway. Is Lotus a wellness center as well? If yes, then how is the treatment different from addiction and mental health treatment? I think they're trying to ask if they do not have addiction and if they do not have a mental illness, then is there anything that they can benefit out of?
Yeah. They are welcome to come here. We are happy to help them. In fact, we specialize in both rehabilitation and wellness.
Okay.
So each person, as I told you, it's more like a resort.
Medical
It's
research.
like a family. Once they come here, they are all part of Lotus family. The crowd here is very good, very vibrant, inside and outside. So we'll be happy to have them here.
Okay, great. So I think let's take one last question. So what is the duration of treatment in case of addictions?
As I told you, old habits die hard. You understand? I don't believe in short-term treatment programs. For example, I get umpty number of queries each day. Can I come for a week? Can I come for 10 days? I tell them, you can come for a detox. We'll help you cleanse your system. But recovery from your addiction is not possible in a week or 10 days. So we have, by standards, we have a 30-day program, 60-day program, and a 90-day program. But in today's fast-paced world, with people with varying work needs, working times, so we try to customize the program according to each person's needs. We customize the program as per one's addiction or time available. We are very flexible about that. But that doesn't mean to say we can somebody will get cured in a week or so.
True.
The longer the duration, the better the chances of recovery.
Right. But it's better to start somewhere than not do it at all. So it's amazing that they are given the flexibility to personalize the program to some extent to their need. Okay. So that was, yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, you can repeat the question, Nandini.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that we're done with all the questions now. So we can just sum up. So this was a very, very insightful and informative session. I'm sure it's helped a lot.
Maybe because of the weather, your voice is breaking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Dr. Ram, that's what I'm saying, that we're done with the questions. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I think there's some network issues on your side, but it's okay. So I was just...
It's pleasant and raining outside, as you told Nandini.
Right.
Pollachi is very pleasant. Monsoons have
Here as well.
showing up every day, and we are enjoying the monsoons here. It's like a carpet of green everywhere in and around Pollachi.
Yeah.
Most pleasant time to visit Pollachi. So I think you all should visit Pollachi.
Sure, of course. Definitely we will. Okay, so I know before we end this session, do you have any message for all the people who are listening, as a professional in this field?
So I would like to say, if anybody, if you or your loved one, be it family or friend, are suffering from any kind of addiction, mental illness, or contemplating wellness, kindly get in touch with Lotus. Welcome to Lotus. Welcome to recovery. And then let's say it loud. I'm proud to be an Indian. Jai Hind.
I'm proud to be an Indian. Jai Hind. All right, it was really great having you here today. Really enjoyed this conversation, and I'd like to thank all the participants for their participation.
Before, I would like to thank Nandini, Adarsh, Akansha, and all the members of RehabPath for your gracious support. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be back with another webinar. Until then, stay safe and have a great weekend. Bye.
Good day. Bye.
Thank you.